Welcome back to the chat with Selasie. In our last episode with Candice Daniels, we dove into how she had a problematic skin as a kid, why she became an esthetician, and the fact that taking care of your skin is not only for the rich. If you missed it, be sure to check it out. Today, we are continuing the conversation, taking a closer look at personalized skincare routines, must have products, and how to adapt your routine as your skin changes. By the way, I'm Selasie. Let's jump back in. Self-care looks different for everybody, but for me, one of the things that I consider self-care is taking care of my skin. Like, my skincare is one of the things that I don't know. It's just so calming to me. Because that is me putting in effort for me. Because it requires my time. Like you said, it requires my time. So if you can put in time for your job,
Yes.
we give so much time to our job. We make sure we get to work at a certain time to clock in. If your job starts at 8, you will wake up early enough to avoid traffic or, with traffic to still get there before by 8. So why are we not able to put time in taking care of this? This is all we've got, right? And I think that for me, skincare forces me to be self-aware.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I remember earlier when I started coming to you and you asked me, oh, how have you been? How was your week? Like, sometimes you start with a big question, the very vague question, like, oh, how have you been?
Yeah.
And then I feel like maybe if you're not getting the response, like when you look at the skin and you're like, there's something going on, how have you been? Then I give you a generic answer. Then maybe you ask another, like, okay, how's your week been? How is work?
Yeah.
Like, you keep probing to see what is going on, because whatever is going on is just showing up,
Yeah.
all up on your skin. In that moment, it forces me to reflect. It's like, wait, what has been going on? Because sometimes I have to wait and think and pause to give you the response.
Right.
Because sometimes we don't pause.
Yeah.
We don't pause to think, what is causing me stress? What is making me feel this way? We never do that. But I think that skincare for me is one of those things that I'm like, I know my skin because I do skincare. I know my skin. I know that I don't break out a lot. So if I'm breaking out, where is it coming from? There's something going. If I'm not on my period or what, and even if I'm on my period, the breakouts that I get during my period is a different kind of breakout, and I can boldly attest that is because of my period.
Right. Yep.
But if it's not my period and all of a sudden I'm breaking out or I'm getting like dark circles or puffy eyes or whatever, then I'm like, okay, there's something going on.
Yep. Yeah.
So then it forces me to also sit and then think about it and see what can we change as well. Something you said that I want us to talk a bit more on is patience. Skincare requires patience. We are in an era of instant gratification. Like, when I say instant gratification, girl, 2 minutes on microwave is even too long.
Yep.
People want like 30 seconds. Instant gratification, especially in our generation. People want things done very quickly, very fast. I have nothing against how do you call it? Surgery. Plastic surgery.
Okay.
Plastic surgery.
Okay.
Yes, I have nothing against plastic surgery. I think that it is here to serve a purpose, right? I have nothing against it. But I think that we are in an era where people are using plastic surgery to gain perfection, right? So instead of them to put the work in, for example, like my trainer was telling me, like, we squat a lot, and I'm like, wait, I have hips already. Like, for my stature, I'm slim.
Yeah.
So the hips I have is enough for me. Like, why we gotta do all this squat?
Yeah. Why do I want more?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he keeps saying, it's gonna define your butt. And I'm like, but I don't want more butt though. I'm good. The way, so instead of putting in the work to squat, instead of actually putting in the work to lose weight, if you want to lose weight, or if you need to lose weight, we don't do that. Now, I understand that there are instances where you actually need a mixture of working out and, plastic surgery to achieve certain goals. I know that. But I also do know that there are people who, because they can afford it, or even sometimes they cannot afford it, but that's the easy route, because that may not require as much time, like time commitment, as the other routes will require. People will go straight up to um, doing plastic surgery, and it's the same with the skin, right? It's the same with the skin. And you gave me a lot of education on like chemical peels, and you told me like how often you should do it, how often is healthy, and how often it's not healthy. You gave me an idea. But I remember, I know this lady, I don't personally know her, but anytime I used to do my nails there, and I could bet you she was doing chemical peels in less than 3 months consistently. Yeah, she's always peeling, like always peeling, and chemical peels does give you like a drastic, change and stuff like that, like effect, which is great. But that's what I'm talking about, is that we are looking for quick fixes. Therefore, we tend to use harsher ingredients. Hydroquinone, I have a love and hate relationship with hydroquinone, but it's one of those things where I don't mess with. I don't mess with. So tell us a bit more. What do you mean by skincare requires patience?
So, like I said, you're trying to undo years of damage, or you're trying to undo years of damage that it took time to get. You're trying to undo it in a short time frame, and that's just not realistic. Um, our bodies are living things. We have cells. It just reproduces. There's so many functions to the skin in our body that if you try to take a quick route, you're 9 times out of 10 going to do damage to it. So I always compare like your skincare journey to like a health care journey, right? Like you said, you can go get plastic surgery and lose the weight, but if you don't work out after you do the plastic surgery, you're going to gain the weight back, or the fat will transfer to different areas. And we've seen different things where people who've gotten surgery, next thing you know, their arms are getting bigger because the fat is going to another area because they didn't do the proper prep work to prepare the body for the surgery. And so your body is used to functioning a certain way, and so when you bring in something that's completely altering it, it doesn't know what to do. So it's going to move stuff over in different places. So same with your skin. So I have a rule where I don't do chemical peels on first time clients. I don't do microneedling on first time clients unless I know for a fact that their skin is in a good place. Other than that, I don't do drastic services on first time clients, is because I don't know your skin, one. Your skin has to go through preparation to even get a peel. And so I've had clients who've gotten chemical peels from other places first visit, and it caused more pigmentation because your skin wasn't prepped for it. And so therefore it reacted and it responded and it created more pigmentation. So now we're having to do more work to correct the issue because your skin is used to functioning a certain way. And if your skin isn't healthy already and you go and get a peel for the first time, it's going to damage your skin barrier because peels are meant to penetrate all 5 layers of your skin. And so if the top 2 layers are somewhat damaged, but the bottom ones are damaged, that now we're like disturbing the skin structure pattern. And now that's what's causing more pigmentation, or, just anything. And so that's why I say it requires patience, is because we're having to work through layers of the skin. We're having to go through all that damage that has occurred over the years. We're having to work through that in order to bring the skin back to a healthy state. And once it's at a healthy state, then we have to see, okay, is this your true skin type, or is this your true skin condition? We have to like really get to the root of what caused it in the first place. We have to get to the root of where your skin is at. Then we can correct it, because then we can ensure that your skin is going to have an actual effective process. And so that's why I tell people you have to be patient, because you don't want to do more damage than good, because in the long run we're still going to have to correct it. So let's just do it the right way, the more effective way, so that way you can have the results that you want, and then we can maintain it from there. And so I just tell people it's the same thing as trying to lose weight. Like, you could go to the gym all you want, but if you're not eating properly, you're still going to have to wait.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like those two things that go hand in hand, which is you need to like work through it. And then on some, and on the other level, like confidence wise, like I've known people who lost a lot of weight and they were still insecure because they didn't do the self work inside.
Yes.
They were so busy trying to get to the goal of this body or whatever that when
Yeah.
they got there, either they gained the weight back or they just were miserable because they weren't confident. And so
Mm.
now they're like trying to define themselves in this new body and this new shape because they didn't take the time out to really basically figure out like who they are, feel confident within themselves. So
Mm.
it's the same thing because I've had people who their skin got to a certain point and they still found more issues with their skin.
Mm.
And so it's kind of like it's always like I said, it's internal, it's spiritual at the same time. So
Yeah.
that's why it requires patience because not only are we correcting the outside, but you also have to be patient within yourself. You also have to like do the things to be confident within yourself while you're on the journey of becoming or getting the skin that you want.
Mhm.
And so that's why I always just preach patience. Like if you
Mm.
can't be patient, then it might not work out well for you.
Mm. Mm. You're right about skincare connecting to so many things, and you did mention spiritual, and I also mentioned emotional and mental. You know,
Mm-hmm.
part of doing skincare is you have to look into the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Every
You
day.
know, you have,
Yeah.
yes,
And you have to be okay with what you see
yes,
in the process.
yes,
And I mean, I just tell people like you have to be comfortable with how God created you.
yes.
And I feel like God brought these resources to help better us and enhance us, but you still have to be okay with the way that God designed you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like God doesn't want us to improve, but
But we are doing the skincare to improve.
exactly.
Yes, but it forces you like I remember back in the days I was listening to a podcast and the lady was talking about another lady who said she hasn't looked into the mirror for years because she doesn't like what she
Yeah.
sees. So she just will not look into the mirror. She doesn't like herself.
Mhm.
And I feel like skincare is one of those things where it forces you to
Mhm.
look at yourself.
Mhm.
Not just look at yourself, but to see yourself.
Mhm.
You know, because you have to see, you have to really look at your skin,
Mhm.
say, oh, I'm getting a pigmentation right here.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
this place feels tight. This
Mhm.
feels dry. So it forces you to see
Yep.
yourself.
Yeah. And so I related to like hair for me. I don't like wearing my real hair out. And
Mm.
it's not that I hate my hair. At one point I did hate my hair. I actually love my hair now, but I always wore weave as a child. My sister, she does hair. So I was blessed enough to have people in my family where my hair was just always done.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, it caused me to not even know how to take care of my hair. So when I
Mm.
became an adult, I was completely clueless. And I have very thick, 4C, curly, tight hair.
Girl, me and you
So,
both.
like,
Me and you both.
so not on top of like uh the universal standard of how hair is supposed to look. I don't
Mhm.
have that conventional look, but it took me a long time to be confident to wear my hair out. So I would say I'm turning 31 next Saturday. I was like 28, 29. So it's recent that I
Yeah.
just started to wear my hair out that actually feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And so when I talk to people and they're just like, I don't like how I look in the mirror with my skin, I felt with my hair.
Mm.
It took me a long time to get comfortable with it because I didn't like how it looked. But I invested into a hairstylist. So
Yeah.
I see her every 2 weeks, and she educated me on how to properly care for my hair, what it needed. And so I realized that by me making that investment into seeing a hairstylist, it helped me feel more confident and comfortable with my hair. It helped me fall in love with it. It helped me
Mm.
be able to look at myself in the mirror with my natural hair and be like, wow, I'm so pretty. So the only reason why I love wearing wigs and stuff is I just like the difference. I like to switch
Yeah.
it up. You know, I feel like how makeup is, it's an enhancement. It's just an enhancement,
Yeah.
but I can still take it off and feel just as pretty. And
Mm.
so when people talk about like their skin, I get it
Understand.
because that's how I felt with my hair at some point. So
Mm.
it's all internal at the end of the day, but we all have to be comfortable with who we see in the mirror every day.
Mm.
We have to because if not, the world will always criticize us. And so that's another thing that as women I feel like we face is there's so many criteria on being a woman and especially with
Yes.
social media and all these things.
Yes.
It's like don't be your worst critic because the world will
Yes.
already do it
Do
for
that
you.
for you.
So
Mhm.
the least you could do is look in the mirror and just be okay with
Yes.
how you look.
And at least if you give yourself the chance to look in the mirror and
Yes,
you are not okay with what you see, you can at least ask yourself, is this something I can fix? Is this
exactly.
something I can improve on?
Mhm.
But that question, you can only get to a place of, is this something I can fix, if you look in the mirror,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So you have to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
You have to allow yourself to look in the mirror. And skincare is one of those things that will allow you or will push you and force you to look in the mirror.
It will. And it'll help you build confidence because
Yeah.
when you are putting in effort
Mhm.
daily, it's kind of like one of those things where like the lack of confidence will go away because you're trying.
Yes.
And I think that's another thing is people get so defeated that they don't even try to take the first steps. And it's like, you have to try.
Mhm.
And that's the beauty of patience because you go through a journey and
Mhm.
on the end of it, you're like, wow, I did all this work. And eventually, like, all the things that you were worried about, it goes away. But
Mhm.
when you allow yourself to go through the process and be present in it,
Mhm.
it's a beautiful thing. I
Mm.
feel like you always come out as a better person in general
Yeah.
instead of like I don't know. I'm more about internal health than external. I feel like the external is just a reflection of the internal.
Yeah.
And so when you decide to go through a skincare journey, you internally change as a
Yes.
person.
Oh
Because
yes. Oh yes.
you're putting in the work. You're
Mhm.
having to challenge yourself every day. You're
Yeah.
having to actually have faith and
Mhm.
believe, in this next version of yourself. So you're having to depend on stuff that you don't even see.
Yes.
So you're having to rely on other factors besides the physical.
Yeah.
And when you allow yourself to go through that journey, you come out as a better person.
Yeah. That is so true. You know, skincare, like when it comes to patients with skincare, I like to talk a little bit more about ingredients, patients and
Mm-hmm.
ingredients, because um, I have met people and I've heard of people who there are some products out there like body lotions and face lotions that or face serums that have hydroquinone or more aggressive ingredients in there.
Mm.
Not to say that those are bad, of course, they are here to serve a purpose, but it's not something that you can use as a long term, especially hydroquinone, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So patient comes in where you know that, okay, I have this hyperpigmentation or whatever is going on with my skin. You could either choose to go the hydroquinone route or a very harsh ingredients route that can make the hyper the pigmentation or whatever is going on disappear within less than 30 days or in a week. But then I noticed that the moment you stop using that product, it comes back and it's even worse.
Yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why patience is key, because
Mm-hmm.
when you take the longer route, and when I say the longer route, I mean safe ingredients,
Right.
it may take longer, it may take a month or more than a month to work, but then you also have the confidence or you have the assurance that when this thing goes, when this pigmentation is gone, it is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I decide not to use this product again, which I feel like it's good to keep using the product just to maintain it.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, you can decide to stop using the product
Yeah.
and that pigmentation is not going to come back
Yeah.
and be worse.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's where being patient
Mm-hmm.
with the ingredients or with the products we use, and the products we use consist of these ingredients,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when we choose our products wisely,
Mm-hmm.
or also being very like extra cautious about the product we use and the ingredient that are in this product, it will go a long way versus giving us short-term goals. When I think of skincare, I think of long-term goals. I think of long-term goals. That's why sunscreen is so
Oh
important to
yeah.
me,
Yeah.
because I know that you can have skincare, which will go there soon. Have all the skincare routines, do all the facial, but without sunscreen, you're doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We did talk about skincare from a point of view of internal
Mm-hmm.
and external,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if someone is out there
Mm-hmm.
who perhaps wants to start the skincare journey, but could only start from one point, which is okay. I can change my diet or be on a more healthier diet, not eat too much fried foods, stuff like that. And I'm going to try to go on walks. I'm going to try to work out. Um, but I may not be able to afford, facials or, actually buy skincare products. Or the money I have could only do one or the other. One, right? Either or. Where do you think they should start from? Should they start from the internal or the external?
That's a good question. I would say I would say internal
Mm.
because you can invest into all the skincare products you want, but if you have acne but you're still drinking milkshakes, you're still eating fast food, it's not gonna make sense. If you could do either or, I would say internal. I would say start with incorporating more foods that detoxify your body, that can oxygenate your skin internally. So more greens, use spinach, kale, things of that nature. Blueberries because it gives your body's antioxidants internally. Green tea, um, spearmint tea is amazing for acne because spearmint is actually an ingredient in salicylic acid. So salicylic acid is like willow bark, but so I would say spearmint tea is like an amazing
Spearmint?
for acne.
Someone told me about that.
Yeah.
A client of mine.
Yeah, it just really helps break down the oils like internally, but it also helps with your digestive system. So I would say internal, start with that first. Because also too, if you get in the habit of being mindful of what you're putting into your body, it'll also reflect into your skincare. You'll be more mindful of the ingredients, and it'll kind of prep you for the process of patience, right? Because like with your diet, when you get to a certain point where you can actually realize what the triggers are that's causing your stomach to, I don't know, be constipated or your digestive system to not properly work, then you can be more mindful of knowing, okay, I can eat this. If I do decide to eat this food and I know it causes these issues, at least I know I can eat this to kind of combat it, So you kind of know how to like alternate through your body because another thing is we never want to live through life like limiting ourselves, right? Like I love ice cream. I know I can't eat it all the time because it makes my face break out. However, I know like, okay, if I do eat this ice cream, then I just need to drink some spearmint tea the next day or some dandelion root to help detox my
Oh, I
body.
love that too.
Yeah, dandelion root is my
Yeah, it's oh my God. It's not only delicious, but it's healthy for
yeah,
you.
it's so good for you. And being that my digestive system is sensitive, it really helps with my digestive system. Because even for example, even though I'm really big on doing your skincare routine every day, there are some days where you might skip it, right? So I tell people like sometimes if you skip your routine at night, just wash your face, double cleanse in the morning, and just proceed with your day. Like it's not the end of the world. And so I feel like when you can like practice internal health first before you get into your skincare routine, it just will reflect into that.
Yeah.
So in a short answer, definitely internal first.
Yeah. I was thinking the same because if you are not eating well, yet you're applying all these topical skincare products, the acne that was there or the whatever it is that was there, the topical product is working on that. But because you're not eating well, the new acne and the new pigmentation or all of those things is coming back. So you realize that you're in a cycle where okay, it's fixing it, but the more it fixes, the more you have like problems appearing on the skin because you are not taking care of the within. Therefore it keeps appearing. So I think that starting from there is definitely a great idea, and it also will teach you the patience like you said, and it also helps you to put in effort, right? Because for you to eat healthy or for you to eat well, you have to put in the effort to meal prep. You have to plan your meal so that when you're hungry, you don't just grab whatever or you don't just go buy, fast food. Because you're mindful about what you put within, you're going to be mindful about what ingredient is in this product or whoever is recommending this product to me. Can I trust the person? So I love that.
Yeah, it makes you just more mindful. And like you said with hydroquinone, like people jump into that. And the thing about it is it's not addressing the root of the problem. And so that's why it comes back with a vengeance. Same with there's an acne medication, Accutane. If
I've
you
heard of
take
that.
it, yeah, it works internally, but as soon as you get off, it for one it damages your skin, and then two sometimes it comes back. But it's like it's not getting to the root of the problem. And so that's why I feel like internal health is important because you're eliminating the problem from the root. So that way, as you continue to heal and work up on your skin, the likelihood of it coming back is low, and then you can just focus on maintaining it. And I always tell people, like, if you have severe hyperpigmentation or acne or even eczema, you can never 100% get rid of it because our body is designed the way it is.
Yeah.
But we can get rid of it to the point where you can maintain it to where it doesn't come up as bad. And so that's what it's really all about. But I feel like that's a life lesson because we need balance, right? Like, so it also teaches you how to live a balanced life, being mindful of what you're doing.
Have you ever heard of the saying that I can quit the exact thing, but it's something along the lines of your talent can get you to the room, but what actually keeps you in the room is your character or something like that. And I feel like it's a good analogy for skincare is that when you start the skincare process or the journey, it helps fix whatever it is we need to fix. However, continuing it maintains a healthy, beautiful skin. Because sometimes I realize that when people want to lose weight or when people want to go on any sort of journey, yes, there are some journeys that you go on them, it has a beginning and an end. But there are some journeys I believe never have an end. And skincare is one of those, is that you start it, you begin to see results, and you have to continue because you need to maintain the healthy skin you have now. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because sometimes people go on a skincare journey and then they stop because, oh, now my skin is looking good. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Well, I tell people, like you said, it's never ending. It's always an ongoing thing because one thing we also have to remember is we're aging. We're not getting younger, we're getting older. And as we get older, life will life. And there's so many factors that will show up. So you could have perfect skin your whole life and then you have a baby. And then next thing you know, you're having this hormonal acne and you're so confused. And so I've had that happen before where I've had one client who I think she was using like Dove to wash her face and some like basic like clean, some moisturizer things.
I've actually used Dove to wash my face because someone recommended it to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but then at the same time, like, it's not something, some people can get by with it, right? I've had people where I've used witch hazel on my skin my whole life. It works, that's fine. But life happens. And so my client, she was using those products and she had her baby and now her skin was like going haywire. And so I had to put on a customized routine. And now her skin is like back to normal. And she was like, I just never would have imagined. I'm like, yeah, because you didn't realize or think about that life can happen to you. And that's why I tell people skincare is an ongoing thing because life will happen. You have to be mindful of events and things that will happen in your life that can truly alter you. Because even like for me losing a parent, that altered the health of my skin. It made I started to get acne and I have dry skin. And so it caused acne for me. And so I tell people like that's why it's an ongoing thing because you think that you'll get to a certain place in your skincare journey and you have to stop, but it's like, no, that's when you have to keep going because something will happen. And when you have those practices and routines in place, you kind of like arming yourself up for war, right? You can go against anything because you have those tools and practices and rituals in place to withstand whatever life will bring towards you. And especially, as women, our bodies go through so many hormonal changes. And so that's why I always tell a lot of us women that our body is going to change every year, every decade we are on this earth. It's going to go through some change, and that's why you have to be able to be committed to your skincare journey.
Candice, you're full of wisdom, huh? Now I feel like, wait, you got all of this inside you, and I feel like I mean, you've been sharing your wisdom with me, but today I feel like you're really sharing with me. We should have you on here more.
Yeah, I'm open to it. I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so now we know that if you're out there and you feel like you want to start skincare journey, but you cannot start it both internally and externally, it is always best to start internally, and then later you can, move to external. You can do both. Okay, so to someone who wants to start skincare externally, okay, or someone who has already started internally and is going well and then wants to move to external, meaning products, right? However, could only afford so much. What are the necessities? Because we have skincare necessities and then we have skincare, the ones that are not so necessary. For
Yeah.
example, like a toner, it's not necessary. It's
Yeah.
not necessary. I mean, it has its place and it feels good and it does what it does, but it's not as necessary, right? As a
Right.
moisturizer or as a wash.
Mhm.
So, what are the necessities of skincare products? What is the basic that everyone should have at least?
The absolute bare minimum: cleanser, moisturizer, and sunscreen.
Mm.
That is the absolute bare minimum. So typically, when I get first clients and either they don't have a routine or we're restarting their routine, I always give a cleanser, moisturizer, and sunscreen because those are the three essentials that'll lay the foundation. Because cleansing will, for one, removes the bacteria, the dirt that's accumulated in your skin. The moisturizer is there to balance your skin's pH and your moisture barrier, and the more hydrated your skin is, the more healthier it is, and the more that we can work on any skincare condition or concern that you may have. And sunscreen, it just is the ultimate protection for your skin. Whether if it's acne, hyperpigmentation, aging, it doesn't matter. Sunscreen protects your skin from environmental factors. And so by us having those three, then we can go in and concentrate on the other things. But the ultimate basics: cleanser, moisturizer, sunscreen. That is the basics.
Okay, so to start from somewhere, if you don't have, enough like money to buy more products, just make sure you have a cleanser, a moisturizer, and a sunscreen. Let's talk about cleansing a little bit because I have heard, which I practice as well. I don't know whether it works or not, but I think you've told me, I'm not sure if you've told me this before, but to clean my face for 1 minute, to actually wash my face for 1 minute. Should we be washing our face for 1 minute and why?
So you definitely should, because it gives the cleanser enough time to actively work through the oil, the dirt, and the bacteria that's accumulated on your face. So, and depending on the type of client, so excuse me, cleanser. So there's two type of cleansers that I like to kind of say in general terms. There's a resting cleanser, and then you have an active cleanser. So the resting cleanser is more like a cleansing balm or a gentle, creamy cleanser that doesn't have active ingredients in it. That's going to lay the foundation for your second cleanser. But the first cleanser, the resting cleanser, is just meant to really break down all that oil, dirt, makeup, whatever is accumulated on your face from the day. And then the active cleanser or the exfoliating cleanser, that is known as something that has active ingredients. So that will have like your lactic, glycolic, salicylic. That has exfoliating ingredients and properties that are actually meant to create some sort of change in your skin. And by cleansing your face for that 1 full minute, it's actually allowing the products to penetrate your skin and actively work through your skin. So sometimes I'll tell people 60 seconds or 1 minute, or let the cleanser just sit on your face for 2 to 3 minutes, because that will allow the active ingredients to really penetrate into the skin and create the changes that we want to see, or help deliver the ingredients to your skin.
Okay.
So that's why 1 minute is super imperative.
Okay, so 1 minute, being it an active cleanser or a resting cleanser. So okay. So if you remember, clean your face for 1 minute. If it's an active cleanser, you're free to leave it on your face for 1 to 3 minutes for it to deliver it benefits. If not, 1 minute is good. If you don't have the time, 1 minute is good. Okay. Let's talk about double cleansing because I have been double cleansing at night, and some people think that double cleansing is only for when you wear makeup. But I actually went ahead and tested this. I love sunscreen. I feel like it's one thing that I cannot live without. And so I'll put sunscreen. Like if I'm to wear this dress out with these shoes out, I will apply sunscreen on my face, of course, and around my neck, and I'll apply sunscreen on my arm and my like just any part of my body that is showing. So I did double cleanse my face, but then I did not double cleanse my arm and my legs. But that day I did apply sunscreen on those areas. When I finished taking a shower, mind you, I'm the type of person who give myself a fresh scrub, just let the water do its thing, and then give myself a second scrub.
Right.
But after the second time, I could see the white, because I had used a physical sunscreen. So I could just see it, and I was like, oh, wow. So this double cleansing thing actually works.
Yeah.
So since then, girl, I will double clean. Like I would just apply the cleansing oil or the cleansing balm everywhere on my body just to get the sunscreen off. So tell us a bit more about double cleansing and what should we be using as our first step of the double cleanse and as the second step, and how many, what is the time duration for both?
So overall, if you're going to double cleanse, it should last about 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
Um, so the importance of double cleansing is because each cleanser has its benefits. So like I said before, you have the resting and then you have the active. 9 times out of 10, the resting cleanser is going to be like a creamy cleanser, a cleansing balm, cleansing oil, something that isn't really going to foam up on your skin. And the reason why it's like that is because the oil from the resting cleanser will bind to the oils from your skin. And so even if you don't wear makeup, it's still good to double cleanse because if you're wearing sunscreen, sunscreen is a physical barrier that's on our skin that's protecting us from the sun. So whether if it's a physical sunscreen or a chemical sunscreen, it's still providing a layer on your skin. Therefore, it's sitting on your skin. And that's more so of a reason why you should double cleanse, because the oils from the resting cleanser will bind to the oils from the sunscreen and really break that down so it's not penetrating in your pores. And that's when you'll follow up with your active cleanser, which is like a foamy cleanser or an active ingredient cleanser that will follow through and kind of just break down whatever's left on the skin and really penetrate the pores. So that's why double cleansing is super important, regardless if you wear makeup or not. And just like you, I tested it myself because I don't wear makeup either. And there was a period where I was just like, my face was just constantly breaking out, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And so I started just testing out my cleansing balm and double cleansing with that, and I was like noticing a reduction. But I personally don't like cleansing balms and oils for my skin because I get breakouts. But I noticed when I was using my creamy cleanser and double cleansing with that, my skin was just more smoother. So I was like, okay, well that's, and then I'm like, okay, so now I kind of could speak from experience too that double cleansing is super important, regardless if you're wearing makeup or not. The sunscreen.
Okay. So should we still be double cleansing at the end of the day if we did not wear makeup or sunscreen?
Then no. If you didn't wear makeup or sunscreen, then it's not really important. You can just do one cleanser, primarily your active cleanser.
Okay.
Because that'll still, because I mean, at the end of the day, even if you're in your house, there's still some sort of bacteria or something around, you know. But if you're not wearing makeup or sunscreen, then you don't need to double cleanse.
I had one lady, Jackie Streber from Mary Kay. We were talking about appearance, and she actually told us something about cleansing. I think she said, I forgot the exact quote, so don't quote me on it. Just go watch that episode, and I'll go watch it myself to remember what she said. But it was something along the lines of, when you sleep with makeup or something and you don't cleanse your face, you age 1 day more, so 3 days more, something like that. She was like, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I try not to.
Yeah.
But when life is life, and look, sometimes I can be so tired and not sleep in the makeup. But I remember, I think this year I've slept in makeup once. I was just too tired. But like maybe on 2 occasions I've slept with the sunscreen on. And but anytime I remember her words, I'm like, okay, when you don't wash your face, at the end of the day you age 1 day more or something. I'm like, okay, no, I'm gonna go wash my face. I think washing the face is really, really, really important. Still on the topic of washing our face, in the mornings, where I showered at night before going to bed, I have applied all the skincare and everything. In the mornings, I didn't go anywhere that night. I just showered and spent time at home, and then I went to bed. In the morning, should we be washing our faces?
It depends on the skin type. So if you have more oily skin, then I would recommend it, but I would use more of a resting cleanser, something just not too stripping of the skin. If you have more dry, sensitive skin, I personally do not feel like you need to wash your face in the morning. So for me, I don't wash my face in the morning. I just rinse my face off really well and then apply my products. And simply because, especially in the wintertime, you want your skin to retain as much moisture as possible if you have dry, sensitive skin. So when you don't wash your face in the morning, you're giving your skin a chance to just continue to retain the moisture. And so therefore, that's why at night it's important to double cleanse. But cleansing in the morning, it all varies on the skin type. So like I said, my more oily prone skin clients, acne prone, they'll cleanse in the morning, but even then they'll use like more of a gentle cleanser instead of like an active cleanser. And then also too, if you work out, so it's just like little factors like that. But it depends. In the short answer,
It depends on your
type.
skin. So there's no one size fit all.
No, it's not one size fits all. And I've had some oily skin clients who said that their skin does better when they don't wash their face in the morning. So it really is about what you feel like your skin needs, but it just really varies on the person and case. So
it comes back to being mindful and being aware,
Yep.
of what is going on with your skin. I relate to you, to what you said, because I have a dry skin as well. And about 85% or 90% of the time, I don't wash my face in the morning. I'll, rinse it off with just water, lukewarm water, and then rinse it off with cold water. Or I just use like micellar water, and that is good. On rare occasions, I will wash my face with a very gentle cleanser in the morning, depending on what state my skin is in. So if I realize that, okay, my skin is breaking out more, like my T-zone is oily, I'll go ahead and wash it in the morning, but with a very, very, very gentle, cleanser.
Yeah, if I like sweat at that night or something like that, like, then I will. But to your point, yeah, it just really depends on the occasion, but very rarely that I do. But to your point, if I do wash it, it's a very gentle, creamy cleanser or something like micellar water to really just help break it down. But it all varies. But again, when you're mindful and are attentive to yourself, then you can kind of know when to make that call.